The greatest podcast in the world. The greatest podcast in the world. Look at the boy bands.
Friday nights.
Rules that were available. Rules that were available.
Friday nights.
Rules.
Look at the boy bands.
Rules that were available.
Portly Gentlemen's Podcast. G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, this broadcast is being transmitted from the fiery depths far below the Earth's crust. With great sadness, I bring you this transmission as the world above burns. As the only one and last source of information left, though, technically that makes this the greatest podcast in the world. Tonight's topic, from the frozen depths of the Arctic tundra all the way to the deserted plains of Turkey. Let's open the gates of Mordor and get into it. That's right, tonight we're talking about the secrets beneath us, hidden tunnels, underground civilizations, and most importantly, the lizard people of the Denver airport. Ooh. So get your shovels and let's dig into the next installment of the Portly Gentlemen's Podcast.
I changed my color to red.
Deep on the ground. Oh, we know where was found. There was aliens somewhere in Denver. What about that? Oh, 1,000 or so years ago, they made some tunnels there with Big Bro. We're looking into this and we're looking into that with a portly gentleman, doing it rightly. Oh, on a Friday night, say, we're looking into some stuff. We're going down on the ground, looking back, what was found. Oh, looking about some stuff, talking about some stuff. The portly gentleman won it once, we'll do it again. Talking about some stuff.
Nice.
Solid start.
Excellent.
Alrighty.
It sounded like you said Friday Nazis. But
Yeah, for sure you said Friday
I
Nazis.
literally picked up at that. I'm like, huh?
I'm pretty sure everybody picked that up.
Did this podcast just get so bad?
Wait.
Alrighty, so who wants to kick off there? Seth, do you want to talk about the one you were going to talk about?
Yeah, so well, I did a little bit of looking into it, all a few of the different ones and everything, and I come across just the standard ones you come up across. But there's one that really stood out, which was the Longyu Caves in China. I don't know if any of you have heard about it, but
I did enjoy this one.
Like 24 artificial sandstone caverns that are like massive, man. These things, I think I've got the information up here, but the average floor of each area of the cave is 1,000 square meters, with heights of up to 30 meters.
That's huge.
So
Did you say the ceiling was 30 meters?
Yeah. The height of the ceilings are 30 meters. There's these massive, they look like drains sort of power systems, and they've got like pillars in the middle. But what's really, really interesting about it is the actual way it's all been cut into the sandstone. Is it's like they've used some kind of tool, industrial tool, because there's all these 60-degree engravings that go across it, and it's all these walls. I don't know if any of you can bring it up on your computer or anything to see it. It's real fucking cool, man. Like these pictures of it.
I can't do it on mine, but
I feel like Trent's our designated pull it up.
Yeah.
Trent guy.
Pull it out.
I
actually did try
Pull
it.
it out, mate. Come
Well,
on.
You need to give me screen sharing permission, and you need to tell me what it is.
Biggie.
So
That's you, Biggie. You gotta do that.
How do I do that, bro?
but it does look cool. This place. I did read a bit about it too. It's
What was it called?
the thing that's real.
Hold on,
The thing
Trent's
that's
asking
really
you,
cool about
what's
it
the name
too
of it?
is
What's the
like
name
in
of it so we can
all
look it up?
these.
So LONGYOU.
Yeah.
Long you?
Yeah.
No, long me, mate. Long me.
Yeah, someone wishes.
Yeah, your mum.
Right.
Yeah, let's put it down. thought something totally fucked up there. Oh, what do you got? Some sweet boy bands just going on in the background?
What is that, Trent? What?
You're looking at boy bands.
Oh my god. Where? Where are they?
Okay, sweet. Let's have a look at these. Far
Yeah,
out. That
I
looks.
was having a look at them.
Oh, well, now it's
Can
gone.
you...
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see it again? Oh,
No,
Yeah,
it
just
went
disappeared.
down. Okay.
righto.
Are you changing your background?
Yeah, he's getting rid of the boy band pictures, bro. Holy fuck, dude. That's hectic. That's
Really?
cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so keep going, Seth.
So
What do you
yeah,
know?
so it's like all these walls and the roofing on it, and it's all like slanted.
Yeah.
And now some of these pillars that they have up all have that chiseling mark, and it
Yeah,
looks
you can
like
see
there's
those
gonna be
marks
big
on the walls.
lines.
Yeah.
But if you actually go up even closer, there's even like a disc has been on it, like a disc, like a grinding disc, and there's these little chisels and like these angles as well the whole way across it
Is this all sandstone?
Yeah.
in sandstone.
See, the thing that's really cool about
Is
this
sandstone really
too
soft
is-
though, or is it
Yeah.
super
It
hard?
is. It's soft stone. Yeah.
It's a soft stone,
But
dude, but it
it's
holds
the
its
fact that it's
integrity really
all-
well.
It's also the whole structural engineering about it all is fucking real
It
crazy.
definitely,
man.
it definitely looks like chisel marks to me, not tooling marks though. It looks like they've repeated the same pattern but with a chisel, right?
Well, like,
But
old wheel, you know.
Yeah,
Is
like,
this-
if you actually
is
look
this
into it
like
close, it's-
a ancient mine? Like, you know,
Well,
we've
well,
yeah.
definitely lost some knowledge in how things were built over the years. So is
Yeah,
this one of
exactly.
these like? Is this one of these mines that were mined like
And they just
thousands of
turned it
years
into
ago, but we
Yeah.
don't know how they did it? Because how could you do it with the tools that were available thousands of years ago?
Isn't that
Yeah.
and a lot
It's
of
actually
that's
great.
like you can look at Greek fire and all that. It's like how they kind of know what they did, but they're not sure because they just all that technology is lost. Roman cement's another one. Like how Romans could make cement underwater.
Yeah, or how the pyramids are actually poured concrete, not stone.
Mm.
What? That sounds like a conspiracy theory. That's fucking
I don't know if
crazy.
I believe that, bro.
Hey,
Look, coming from a solid plasterer, mate, I don't want to give any credit to
I
the
feel like you
concreters.
got
No, trust me, I don't want to give any credit to the concreters. But I'm pretty sure that the fucking.
the
Yeah, you're just trying to
I'm
take
pretty
some
sure
work
you can
away
see
from
the formwork
landscapers there,
parts,
bro.
bro.
So you're
Anyway,
more
so-
worried about the rendered look of what the pyramids used to look like after
Oh,
the
bro,
concreters used to
trust
come
me.
in?
Trust me, I've got plenty of render conspiracies. Like, actually, you know those real famous walls at Machu Picchu that are like 5-sided, like blocks that are supposedly like put in place and they're like perfectly fit, so you can't get a piece of paper through or whatever. Fucking total bullshit, bro. That's a straight up rendered wall. That's what it fucking is. There is areas that you can see photos where the render is falling off and it's just a bunch of randomly jumbled up rocks behind it.
Yeah.
And they've
So
just rendered over
it's
the
an
front of it.
ancient trade. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Look,
been
I'm just
around for
saying,
thousands of years.
we made the fucking pyramids, we made Machu Picchu. What, cunt? What? Render-spiracy, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but also you
it
need
only
those
takes
ancient concreters.
Yeah, I'm hearing like takes a
33-degree masons could eat my ass, bro. It's the 33-degree fucking renderers over here.
Off brand.
Masons. It's not that hard to fucking hit a bit of rock with a fucking stick, you dumbasses.
Great rivalries.
Oh,
No, anyway,
Oh, shit.
I'm just talking shit. But yeah, those fucking caves are amazing though, man.
Where
Well,
do they
what's
lead?
really cool
They definitely don't look
Is,
rendered, bro. They look like they were.
That's why they look so shit, dude. Anyway, go
Well,
on, Seth.
what's really cool about the place is, you can see those massive pillars and everything. Some of them like intricate carvings, like on the pillars of like dragons and shit coming across it, all across the walls, giant murals of like scenes depicting like work and stuff, you know, the daily life, like huge ones, man, huge ones. And
Are they painted? Are they painted on?
no, they carved into it.
They're carved into it.
Yeah, but
And
are the
then matte
carvings painted? Do you know that if it was painted at
Oh
one
no,
point?
no. See, this is what was really interesting about it. Here's where the story goes: is the fact that how it was actually found in the first place. 'Cause this was hidden away; no one actually knew about this. And how it was actually found in the first place was in like June 1992. There
Oh
was some
wow.
farmers.
Okay.
Well, did
Just
you guys
looking
see
at
the
an
snake
image.
on the pillars, like the
Yeah,
dragon? And
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
dragon
yeah,
that Seth
dude.
was just talking about, man.
fuck, man, that's
Keep
so
going.
cool.
Hold on. Keep going, Seth.
Yeah,
Finish your
yeah.
story.
So back in
What, is
1992,
that Jesus
some
on a
farmers-
donkey in the background?
That is totally Jesus on a
That is
donkey.
Jesus on a
I swear
donkey.
to God, man, that's the fucking baby Jesus on that donkey.
No,
The
I
Chinese were
think-
Christians
I
before
think that's
Christians were
Judas riding
No, that's-
Mary.
Oh shit, dude.
That's the real conspiracy.
yeah. So again, like basically back in 1992, there was some farmers, and they wanted to drain the water in one of these ponds because there was a big fish down there in this pond, and they're like super deep ponds. So when they drained it, that's actually how they came across these places. That they found out that wait, these actually lead down into these chambers, these massive chambers, and they revealed like they drained like 5 of these ponds or something like that, or you know, or did 5 of these ponds, but upon further investigation, they realized that there was actually 19 more of these places. And as far as I'm aware, like from what I've seen and everything, only like maybe the 5 original ones that have been pumped are still, they're the only ones that have been opened up, and they're still like digging into them. But what's interesting is that they've determined them to be more than 2,000 years old, and there is no historical documents regarding it at all. No one's got any information on this thing at all.
So
Which
which
is-
country? Like which
And
country?
there's a language
is
in
this
there as well.
found in?
China.
Sorry,
Yeah.
China.
They
country?
do know info.
China.
They just don't want to
Okay.
tell anyone else.
Yeah. Trying to be
Oh,
one of those
well,
places.
yeah.
where
But,
it'd be
but,
like,
but 2,000 years ago isn't that long ago in terms of like written history or whatever. Like not that there was like heaps of it, but there was definitely like written history around that time, and
Yeah.
particularly
Yeah,
like the
it's
Chinese
all
were like
recorded.
well known for like being like one of the first like civilizations or whatever that documented their history, and like obviously a lot of it's wrong and they like bias it towards. It's actually where Genghis Khan came up with the idea to write down all their stories was from China, because they'd been doing it for such a long time that like every emperor had their own history that they all knew and talked about. So it'd be interesting to know if somewhere in the text there's some kind of text that refers to it, or because obviously like something like that would have been like an imperial thing, you know what I mean? That's not just some farmers.
It's massive,
that's like
man. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so
Yeah.
that's
Huge
what's so weird
undertaking.
about it. Apparently, there's a language in there as well. The language that's all written in there is no one knows it.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
these are, as I said, these are big things, and whether they was sort of just hidden away when someone
Is
took
it-
over or something
Well,
like that.
How's that like in China too? You got that first emperor, man, where you ever hear about his pyramid and stuff?
Yeah.
Like that's all been buried and stuff, and they only just like found it not too long ago, and that's got the whole mercury like pools and stuff that protect
There's
these
apparently
things.
a-
And apparently it's a whole city. It's like the whole pyramid is like built about the capital city sort of style, the whole thing, and apparently chambers, everything. But they've never, like the government has refused like going near it or in it or anything. But yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Crazy.
and like for back then, like the engineering and technology is like real crazy.
Well, it's
We're
like
talking
the
a long
Aztecs, man. The Aztecs. You know, they've over the years they've found these pyramids and then deforested the area to reveal these pyramids. But there's people out there flying in planes above the land using laser technology to map the land and then it's mapping, the trees and everything, but it's more the topography. And as they're mapping the topography of the land, they're going, there's something here. And then they send out a party of people to go out as a, like, here's the GPS location, go and look here. And these people are going out into like the rainforesty areas of, Mexico and that, and going, there is actually, there's not just like one little Aztec pyramid. There's a whole city. There's a whole, like, these people were living and in this area and have built so much. But
it was a giant place. I remember it was not that long ago that evidence came about, because they, like you said, I think it was, I don't know if it was laser or something, but they were able to see not just the topography, but I think that they had like a ground penetrating radar, so that they could actually tell where like rocks and stuff were. And they mapped so many pyramids that it was like equivalent today of like the world's largest city, basically, made of small pyramids. It was very recent. It was like only in the last 5 years.
Not just small pyramids. There were whole cities. Like this area,
and like trade routes and roads and
all like succumbed to the fucking jungle.
That you'd never know that was there unless you make the technology to go and investigate it.
To be able to do it. Yeah,
that's right.
Just use the old flamethrower trick. Always works.
I'm pretty sure they're doing it on their own just enough.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just give them a little hand here and there.
We don't need those forests anyway, bro. Don't worry about it.
No. Algae in the ocean gives us enough oxygen, right?
People keep having to go at me about cleaning my dam, but I'm building algae.
They do air in a can. That will work.
So what I'm getting from this,
This
is all bless Cthulhu.
Hey,
all bless Cthulhu is what I'm getting from this.
All praise.
That's been the motto from the start.
Cthulhu.
Alrighty, so do we want to go to the next topic then?
Yeah, well, what do you got, CK? You said you got something interesting.
So I've got icy stories from the underground. Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
So 1951 to 1966, this occurred on. And I suppose you've kind of got to understand like the context of the time that this was really set in. So this is like middle of the fucking Cold War, where the US and the USSR are in like deep Cold War. But it's a constant battle on where you can basically get your missiles, on who can get their fucking nukes closest to the other person's border. So basically they were doing everything they could to get their nukes as close to somebody else's country as they possibly could.
Hence
and
Cuba.
Greenland at the time was seen as a barrier of defense for the US and Europe against Russia. So an agreement was struck in 1951 between Washington and Copenhagen that allowed for an airbase to be built. And so Thule Air Base was the code name, and the operation name, because you've always got to have a cool operation name.
You always gotta have a call. Most of the time, it's not though. You get like Operation Paperclip and shit. You're like,
Blue Jay.
Serious?
Blue Jay was this one. Yeah, so it's not that cool.
Like, the person who gets to actually make the name, they're given 30 seconds to name it. So
go.
Operation Milkshake.
I was totally thinking the octopus where they just grab the random things.
Ball,
yeah. Together. Blue, Jay.
The octopus will tell us the future.
All right.
All big government
MK Ultra.
So the construction was started in 1951, and 6 months later it was completed of the airbase. And the build eventually supported 10,000 military personnel from the US. So that was kind of like almost the cover though. Like the real objective was 240 kilometers away, which later became known as Camp Century, which was a scientific laboratory. And like this was highly publicized at the time. Like as in they made a movie in fucking black and white that was released to the public about how fucking good they were, because they could go to the fucking Arctic and the US military could build a science center.
Sounds like the first propaganda, bro.
So
Sounds like the thing.
well, probably one of the first, like on TV at least. Yeah.
Tricking your
I
own
reckon this is Captain America, you know?
So
I think it's the
Promotional
thing.
video.
Yeah.
So yeah, Camp Century basically was touted as like a groundbreaking science lab, but actually was just a secret operation called Project Iceworm.
Damn it, I thought it was Shield.
Iceworm's kind of cooler, but it's still not that cool. Like, shouldn't like you call it like Ice Centipede or something? You know, like Iceworm. Just seems like like you imagine a worm just like
That's that.
Yeah, but
That's that fucking
worm
being
can
caught on a
survive in
spot.
ice?
yeah. So at the time, it was highly publicized and it was hailed as a miracle of science because they were the first ever to core to the bottom of the Iceland glaciers. And they had installed after, I think, like 6 months or so, they'd installed this giant nuclear reactor there to like power the whole thing. So it literally was like a self-contained, by that time anyway, it was a self-contained city underneath the ice in the Greenland ice shelf.
Do you think they made their own sausages underneath the ice?
That's important information.
It'd probably be a pretty good environment for curing meats.
Yeah, it's nice and
Yeah.
cold. You
Nice
can,
and
you can
cold.
definitely
Or
freeze
a
some
chicken.
chickens in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
you
there's
could
ever an
really,
environment to
really
fucking stuff a
control
shell
the
full of ice.
temperature of
Yeah.
your pepperonis and
Oh, dude,
salami.
it was hectic. Like they even had like to get their water, they basically had this like electric heater that they just dropped. They drilled like this huge fucking tunnel that went straight down, and then essentially just had like a electric heater attached to a bit of rope, and then just like fucking put it down into the hole, and then that melted enough ice around it that they could
So
then
they-
have like actual water, and then they'd pump
Yeah.
that water up, and they had like
Yeah.
a shower room for every person on base
Well, I mean,
by the end of it. Like it was fucking legit. Like it looked like comfortable as heck.
Sounds very fancy.
Yeah, it
Almost
sounds
like-
fancy.
Yeah.
That's
It's
wait,
pretty
is this
fancy.
Is this like a missile silo or something?
So this is the thing, right?
Always.
So all the propaganda came out, and basically it was just about the idea that they were going to create this like science fucking experiment place or whatever. But actually, it's only come out in like a few years ago that it was essentially like a missile launching site, is what it was
Yeah.
designed to be. And so it was
yeah.
designed to hold 550 nuclear missiles. Each of the missiles were codenamed Icemen. Because you've got to give like code names to fucking everything.
Yeah.
I'd like to think they called at least one Ice Baby.
Or, I mean, like, let's be
Just for the
equitable
hell
here.
of it.
It's the
Let's at
mini
least
one
name
they've
some of them
got.
Ice women. Why do they fucking be Ice men? Fucking misogynists.
This was the fucking, what was it, 60s?
Yeah, so 550 nuclear missiles and 3,000 kilometers of tunnels. So, that's what
Wow.
was actually going on that's come out in their reports. My question, though, is, was it just that? Or was it something more sinister?
Ooh.
I think they were growing
Ooh.
mushrooms in the
That-
tunnels.
Or was it something more sinister? That's the real question.
Sounds pretty sinister to me. Like, hey, no, we're just building like a science camp for like the army. Oh no, like yeah, no, there's a bunch of nukes here actually. Like, oh wow, surprise!
So it ended up
The
finishing up.
military is using the word science behind what they're doing.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Expect so.
Brain
Anything
instantly
goes
goes
to
to like,
It's for science. Yeah.
fool me once,
Yeah,
military.
right, yeah,
Fool me
absolutely,
one
it is
time.
for science.
CK, just really quick, you said 3,000 Ks worth of like tunnels and shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Are they
The
just
fuck,
building
man.
the ultimate racetrack down there, or?
Yeah, the ultimate Mario Kart track.
No,
like,
it's
no,
a
ice-
tubing.
ice
Growing
track.
mushrooms. They're growing mushrooms.
Just going.
It's a
That's
mushroom
growing
farm.
mushrooms.
It's
They just made a huge like
3,000
luge
kilometers
track.
of nothing but shrooms, baby.
Or is
Wow.
it 3,000
Shrooms
kilometers
galore,
worth of
man.
tunnel? Because
All
they go into
kinds.
one of the volcanic tubes that go down into Hollow Earth.
Blue meanies.
Have you guys seen those
Oh.
volcanic
Oh,
tubes
oh,
up in
Wavy
Cairns?
Say that again. Nick.
Waters,
Have you seen those volcanic
oysters,
tubes up in?
shiitakes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's like full volcanic tubes up Cairns way.
Really?
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I know what you're talking about too.
No, I've never seen that. Is that? Yeah, I'm sure of it. I'd look it
Yeah.
up. But I've never seen it. I can't see that.
But anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the site ended up having to close supposedly, right? But they like who knows really, because this is just the information we have.
Wait,
but
sorry.
so-
What's your sinister idea on this though? We
Well, this is
just
what I'm
all
getting
went
to.
on a
I'm getting
tangent.
to this. I'm getting to this.
We're like
I'm getting to
sinister. Yes, vampires
Something
and fucking. No, sorry. Go.
So I'm getting to this, right? The sinister part is like
Midget zombies.
well, that is pretty sinister.
Oh.
Any kind of midgets, really. So no, just that the site ended up closing in 1966 because the engineers didn't realize how much the ice sheet moved, and so like literally
Oh, no.
the entire thing was like being like crushing itself because it was like moving so much like over time. So they abandoned it. So they just abandoned it, and now there's apparently 60 tons of toxic waste, including a full-on fucking nuclear reactor that's still there to this day, buried under the ice. So the thing then becomes is like, okay, maybe it's still going. Maybe you could imagine that there was some kind of conspiracy where like really there's actually some giant fucking city under there now and they're the ones that rule the world. Maybe. I'm not saying it's not that.
People.
But also maybe it's like
Maybe
the real
that's where the crab
conspiracy.
people live.
Yeah. But maybe the real conspiracy is just that the US Army just went to this place, totally fucked it up, and then just left and have no liability at all for leaving that toxic waste behind.
Yeah.
Come on, CK.
I think that's
They wouldn't
probably
do that.
way more likely.
Dude,
Yeah.
We're talking
I'm
about
gonna
there's
go
an
sort of-
island in the Pacific where they used to dump their nuclear waste and they concreted over the entire thing. But the concrete slab is not lasting and is cracking. So
Yeah.
and just
there's
falling
an
into the
island
ocean.
out there in the Pacific that it contains tons of nuclear waste that it's
Just-
cracking.
Yeah.
It's
Just
like,
say it as it is.
well-
That's fucking Godzilla Island right there.
yeah, but it's not even an island. It was more of like a sandbar. Like it wasn't even a proper island. They just
What's
Is
the
this
name of that place?
Bikini?
It's a real famous fucking place. I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the Bikini Atoll and that. where
Yeah,
they
Bikini
fucking-
Atoll. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they bombed the shit out of it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
and then
so
dug a big hole, buried some nuclear waste, concreted over, and it went, that'll do.
yeah. So that that's
But no,
basically
it
that.
ha-
Like
it
that's
hasn't.
basically
It's
the same
not.
thing as this situation, except that they didn't have to
Yeah.
concrete over anything because they were like, "Oh no, it'll be fine because the snow will cover it." Well, what they didn't think about was fucking global warming. I mean, if you believe in that, but so now all of the everybody's basically saying that like, oh, you've got to like be super worried because of global warming. Basically, all this stuff is going to be exposed in 2090. That
I'm
this
pretty
will
sure
actually
we
be
should-
exposed.
Yeah,
We could make
So,
that.
we
quicker.
shouldn't even think of 2090. We should be thinking about like within the next 20 years, like
2022.
We can speed it up. That's what fucking Marty's
fucking
saying.
Yeah,
Let's get
fucking
these secrets
next
now.
year, man. I mean,
Except
who
you, Mickey Nixon.
knows?
You keep that attitude up, you will not be back 20 years.
Next
they're
time
doing
you
it
might
with
see me,
haters.
I might be have growth. I might have a little hand growing off my chin, like.
But you'd have your
Beard
answers.
Your beard
So the-
scratcher.
So the
Yeah.
other interesting part,
My beard might turn into tentacles and fucking scratch me, you know? Oh, I've got an itchy head and my beard just goes.
You
that's
definitely
living the
prefer
dream.
it to be feeding you Skittles.
Oh, yes!
Skittles. Yeah.
No, not Skittles, Starburst. I would
Wait.
prefer
Oh,
Starburst.
Starburst,
because
as long as
then
your
the
beard
beard
opens the
has to
packet.
open.
Wait, you're
Yes,
making
yeah,
this
they have to open the packet
stuff
first.
sound better and better.
Oh, and it
Starburst
needs to know when to
Starburst is like
stop.
the best candy.
That's the smart.
Then
like-
I could absolutely die a happy mutant.
I was going to say, it needs to know when to stop. Otherwise, it'll just constantly feed you fucking Starburst.
And you'll be
Your
asleep.
death will be very quick, my friend.
Yeah.
You will die happy. Because it'll happen quick.
All right, so just to wrap this one up, basically, the only thing that I could really see as like a legit conspiracy coming out of this is just like the waste and stuff that is left around the world by the US. So just in Greenland alone, there's 30 different sites like this. Now, none of them, maybe they don't have the nuclear reactors that have been left there, but they're just as fucking toxic and just as deadly for people. There's a site called Bluey East 2, and they've got tens of thousands of rusting diesel fuel barrels, leaded diesel fuel barrels just sitting there. It's fucking like, when you see the pictures of this, it's called Bluey East 2. When you see the pictures of this, man, it's literally just barrels on barrels on barrels, just like left there. And rotting cars and like rotting fucking like steel structures in the most beautiful place in the entire world. Like,
whatever happened to America and Australia? They tested hundreds of nuclear bombs in the center of Australia, where we live. What
was
has
it in
happened?
Australia?
Yeah, dude.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I am.
They
I think it's
tested
like our Western
hundreds of them.
Australia too, bro.
Yeah.
But like, I don't
Here we go.
know
We're
if
gonna
they
look at a photo
tested,
of this Bluey
like the
East
potency
too.
of them weren't very high,
I'm
and I
trying,
don't
man.
think it was
All right, here we
America.
go.
I think it was
Yeah, so
England.
this looks like just part of it, man. When you see the panorama shot, it's fucking everywhere, dude. And the place is such a beautiful place, man. It's amazing that they're allowed to fucking do this. It's like right in front of this beautiful fucking lake here, you know what I mean? And it's just like totally trashed.
Is it?
And so
from,
apparently
like,
right now there's like a massive geopolitical fucking thing going on because Greenland wants this. Yeah, look at some of these photos. Like, that's fucking beautiful as fuck. And there's just like that one with the blue water there.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah.
Maybe because it's got so much diesel in it.
Yeah. But yeah, man, this
It'll
is like,
pretty up your
this
wall.
is legit. You know, like
using
this is
this dirty old diesel and then re-refining it to use as fuel.
like, look at that shit, man. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
photo. If it wasn't for those fucking barrels, dude.
Well,
Are
you know
these
what?
barrels or
It actually
poppies?
looks really nice. The rust color.
The contrast.
That blue, yeah, like
I've never
colour-
seen trash
colour-wise,
look
Yeah,
so
there we go.
pretty.
Look at that.
Really
Look at that.
nice.
Yeah, wow. That's a lot of barrels.
It's a
That
fucking
is
lot
a lot of
of
barrels.
Jesus Christ. That's disgraceful.
What did they use that many barrels for?
Was
Yeah,
it? I was
and,
going
like,
to
why
say,
don't
was
the
there a
farmers
military
No way.
engagement?
fucking harvest
That's a
that shit?
conspiracy, isn't it?
Wait.
I
Did you
think
just
weren't
get
trying to
using
create
nuclear
social
power?
bond.
Holy
Kong's
fuck,
layer?
man. The spoils of
Oh
war.
shit, it's Donkey Kong. Yeah. Donkey Kong's just in the middle of it like, fuck yeah. Oh, man. How good is this?
Oh,
Oh man.
Did everyone just start looking for a monkey? I know you're out there, DK.
Some little
princess
short
screaming
Italian
in the
guy.
middle of it.
I think he won that one, dude.
Yeah, so that's basically
wow.
that's basically the wrap up on that one. Is just like, yeah, I think the only real conspiracy there is just like the real cost of war, like the real cost of like fucking all this bullshit, all the geopolitics, like the real cost of that shit looks like that. Like we don't, you're like, oh yeah, like well, a bunch of people died, like oh, it's like whatever, like oh, it's fine, but at least we're safe or whatever. But like there is that kind of shit all around the world. And
sure.
another example of that is the toxic burn pits that they have in all these, like basically everywhere that there's a fucking American military base, the toxic burn pits. So all of their cardboard, all of their plastic, all of their steel, they just throw it into a big ongoing fire, and then they have people watch over it. That's standard
this
practice.
is how they make rings of power.
Yeah.
This
It
is
is
like the
standard
tire
practice.
fire of '96.
Yeah, that's right.
Finally learned what Mordor was there, mate.
Come on, we're talking the US Army, mate. They know how to make rings of power.
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? These giant fires that are here, man, like they just keep burning, and I'm pretty sure they do just use tires to keep them burning. And like the amount of people that have gotten sick and died from this stuff is just fucking retarded. And still to this day, the military and the US Army doesn't recognize that these people have been killed by their own fucking government. So
Yeah,
they're
of
not
course
able to
not,
get
because
help.
you imagine how much people could sue them for.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
That's right.
It's
That's
all
exactly
about
right.
self-preservation, but self-preservation for them is about money and reputation. So if people could sue them, then that destroys their reputation. So
And also, then they
The
have
thing
to
I
do
don't
all
get
that,
about
so
this, right, is why they're not just
Also,
blowing it all up.
Why they're not what?
Just blowing it all up. Like, why would you just burn it
I mean,
when you can just
It
blow
would
it up?
literally still just catch on fire, bro.
It's just spreading the fire around.
Why couldn't they stick a fucking their
dump
it in a bag onto a cruise missile and just
Send it to the
fucking
moon.
fire one in the hole?
The greatest podcast in the world. The greatest podcast in the world. Look at the boy band.
Friday night.
rules that were available.
Friday night.
Rules.
Look at the boy band.
Rules that were available.
Portly Gentlemen's Podcast.